On our side of the world, NFT is still not very clear. Can you give us a brief idea about NFTs? Where do you see this going with artists and how can they benefit from it?
I think the first thing for everybody to understand is it's really not just about artists or collectibles. This is a very substantial technology that has started in art and collectibles, but long term, a non-fungible token, which is a digital asset or the digitalization of something with an underlining contract underneath that digital asset, will impact home buying, will impact ticketing to events, will impact every contract you can imagine, from a lease to maybe even a wedding certificate. I mean, it is a very, very, very big technology. So I always tell people, it reminds me a lot of internet, 95, 97, 99, where people were like, oh, okay, you can search for things on the internet. Many, many people in 1996, 7, 5 thought the entire thing that the internet was basically an encyclopedia. That's it. That is like where people started and stopped. And if this interview was in 1996 and you would say, in our part of the world, this internet thing, we called it World Wide Web back then. The World Wide Web is not as big here, Gary. Explain it. Obviously, we can all look up information. And I would say, no. This is much bigger than information. This is going to be how people buy things. This is how people are going to date. This is how people are going to communicate with each other. And 85% of the audience, 95% of the audience would not believe it. I believe that what an NFT is, it's a digital asset. I believe every person that's watching this right now will want to own many, 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 many digital assets, no different than people want to own clothes, want to own, tchotchkes, mirrors, sneakers, anything physical, a baseball. People are going to want to own a digital version of that. Now, people are going to say, why? Why would I want to buy that? I could just take a picture of it. You could take a picture of a Mercedes Benz. Doesn't mean you own it. You could take a picture of the Mona Lisa. Doesn't mean you own it. What I think people are missing about NFTs is that NFTs have already happened. They just have happened in video games and gaming, and they haven't happened in the real world. And what I mean by that is, whether it's Fortnite, whether it's FIFA Soccer, whether it's Minecraft, whether it's Roblox, there are many games going back a decade, whether it was Farmville on Facebook. Many people at this point have themselves or definitely know a child who has bought something digitally so that they can have it inside their digital world, in their game. This doesn't take into account even this, which is going to be the next conversation. Once people understand what this looks like and what this is going to be like, we have a very big advancement. And the reason I get such a lovely intro from you saying forward thinking, innovative, when I invested in Coinbase in 2014, cryptocurrency investing and trading wasn't as obvious 7 years ago as it is today. So what is an NFT? It is a digital asset that is verified that you own it based on the blockchain, proof of stake, proof of work, mainly today built on Ethereum. There's other blockchains, Wax, Flow, there's good ones. I believe that one day in the next decade, everybody will have a public wallet. Just like a social media account, you, me, Maha, and everybody who's watching will have a digital wallet with an address that everybody can see. And when people click it, in there, they will see all of our NFTs. Some of our NFTs are going to just be collectibles and art and things like on the back. Look at the back, look over your shoulder. Look at all those things. People have things. It's what humans do. They collect things, they have things. It's what we do. We're animals. We hoard. Go watch an animal. They take a little chestnut, a leaf, we hoard, we collect things. But many of our NFTs will be functional. For example, in my wallet, you will see a Jets NFT, which will represent my season tickets. So it'll be functional, but it will also show you that I'm a committed season ticket holder to my team. It may show a ticket, a digital ticket to a concert I went to for Jay-Z or The Weeknd. It will be a representation of our lives digitally at scale, the same way that for a teenager, the posters and ticket stubs in their room, and for the same way a grown-up has art or cars or why do you wear jewelry? Why do I wear this hat? Humans communicate. Our world is going more digital. And when people say to me, let's not, what, I don't get it. I always say to them, do you get a blue check mark on Instagram? Does that matter to you? And very quickly they start understanding that we've been living digital. Yeah. How many followers you have on social media today is as big, if not bigger status symbol than how much money you have.
True.
And that is purely digital.
So let me ask you this. I get the idea. I've been following VFriends, and I mean, I love the way you're positioning it and VCon, and that's a much bigger conversation that I'd love to get to at another time. But the question is, how do you create your own NFT? So you can buy, but how do you create your own currency and basically content?
Well, so creating an NFT versus creating a currency are a little bit different. Okay. Creating an NFT, a non-fungible token, is as simple as making a piece of digital content and going to a platform and uploading it and minting it, whether it's on OpenSea or Rarible or many platforms that are out there. So literally that's a Google search away. I'll literally do it right now while I'm with you. How do I make an NFT? Literally, I'm putting this into Google, and sure enough,
I Googled that, but that's not my question. The question is like, what do I, for example, I want to trade into NFTs, and I want to have, you have VFriends, you create your own original art and you sell it. So I'm talking from a product perspective.
From a product perspective, you're now asking a question similar to the late 90s when I was asked, well, how do I build a website? Well, I'm like, well, you go this, and then you would say, no, I know that part, but what? And then I'm like, well, I don't know. What do you want to do? I wanted to build a website in 1996 to sell wine for my dad's liquor store. Today, VFriends, if you listen to my content over the last decade, I've been very consistent around my fascination around intellectual property. My belief the whole time was I was going to go and buy it, that I was going to buy nostalgic intellectual property, right? Whether it was Smurfs or Scooby-Doo or a brand like a peanut butter or a sneaker. It's why I did the K-Swiss deal years ago. It was a nostalgic intellectual property. Once I saw what NFTs really were, I said, wait a minute, I don't need to go spend millions of dollars buying something. I can create something. 2 years ago, I even have the filming of this, which is great. I'll show it soon. I went down a very aggressive path of building out toys to put on people's desks called Workplace Warriors, which was me responding to the hundreds of thousands of DMs that I get a month from people having a bad day at work. And I said, a lot of people like to put, I walked around my office and many offices through the years, and people have all sorts of little toys, tchotchkes, things at their desk. I said, if all these things I'm passionate about, empathy, kindness, patience, accountability, all these characteristics, maybe I'll create these little characters, empathy elephant, patient panda, and it'll be a fun business. I can do my own Transformers, my own G.I. Joe, my own My Little Ponies, Cabbage Patch Kids, Power Rangers. So I was very excited about it. And I went down the path, and then I got sidetracked, and then COVID hit, and then here you are. So in December and January and February, when I was like, wait a minute, NFTs are really here, very on the precipice, I said, the only way I know how to learn, when I thought the internet was big, I launched a website. When I thought social media and content were going to be big, I launched Wine Library TV and became a personality. I would remember I was 30 years old before I ever put out a single thing on the internet. So I didn't grow up aspiring to have a notoriety or fame or be known. I'm a businessman. But I knew that if I wanted to be great at it, the only way I know how to learn is by doing. I don't read about push-ups. I do push-ups. I don't read about rock climbing. I rock climb. I don't read about, wine. I taste it. And so I said, I have to do my own NFT. Otherwise, I won't fully understand. And when it came time for me to think about what I wanted to do, which is different than anybody else, there was two things that emerged. One, I've always wanted to make these characters around empathy, kindness. I don't want Gary Vee to be the only vehicle and vessel for me to talk about the things that I believe in the world. And I thought that I could build an intellectual property. And number two, I have always wanted to throw my own South by Southwest, my own major conference. And so I tied the two together because I knew that the NFT projects that were coming out were only the art. And I wanted to show people that NFTs were much bigger than that the smart contracts could do things. So I decided to attach a 3-year conference, VCon, to the NFT. So not only do you get the collectible asset, and if the way I plan on over the next 45 years, build this intellectual property, if it's Mickey Mouse or if it's Bart Simpson or if it's Transformers, well, that NFT has tremendous value. But number two, it's an asset that people can come to the conference. And then I layered a third level, bless you, Maha. I added a third level, which was access, which I really think is quite scalable for everybody who's watching. It's only a very small percentage of my project, but there's also the ability to play ping pong with me or go to dinner with me or have a group dinner with me or do FaceTimes with me. I wanted to expand on what we've been seeing from Cameo, and I also know that what Roger Federer or what Mo Salah or what, the greatest pianist in the world, what she can do is she would see that and say, oh, wait a minute, my NFT, I can make 100 NFTs, beautiful piece of art, but maybe 2 of them are special. And those 2 come with a 1-hour lesson with me. And I think NFTs for every expert, every influencer, every personality is an incredible revolution that once they understand what it really is going to create fascinating economics.